Today on DNVR Buffs Live, no more suspense because he's sitting right next to me. Uncle Neely is joining us on the show to discuss all of the latest happenings in Boulder and, of course, answer all of your questions. Let's get to it. Let's go.
How about them? You
Squad.
Gotcha.
Oh boy, coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's the DNVR Pregame Show. The Quad Pod is back. Uncle Neely's in the house.
What about lemonade?
Unc, you can't be messing with people's hearts like that.
I'm a jokester, man.
I know. We know.
Like I said, bro, if they don't know by now that you play like that, they ain't gonna never know.
If you don't know me by now, I guess you never know me. Haven't won an Emmy. I won't win a Tony. That's KRS-One, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We've had a hell of a day.
We have. We could
I
probably
feel
take
partly responsible, but then I don't because reading is fundamental.
Yeah.
You didn't read either, though, bro.
But I also didn't get up and go.
So Jake and I get punished for trying to do the right thing.
Y'all, you absolutely did the right
No
thing.
good deed goes unpunished.
Do you want to break down the day for us?
I'm gonna try to keep this fast because I honestly think this story at full length could take up the whole first segment.
It probably could.
But people are on the edge of their seat. So let me just tell you this. On Monday, we were talking about having Unc in studio. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Yep, I'm in. Let's do it." And then he messaged us and was like, "Wait, hold on. There's a celebration of life planned for Coach Mack on Wednesday. So I don't know if it's going to work anymore." And then I was like, "Oh, well, I want to go to that. So we'll just move the show back to 3:00. We'll go to it."
Yep. Don't leave out now. I screenshot the date.
He sent us all the information.
All the info.
Last night, I convinced Jake to go with me. Today, Jake and I get up early, drive our asses up to Boulder, get into the parking lot. It's kind of quiet in the parking lot. Start walking up towards the Coors Event Center. Very quiet around there. Walk up, take a picture that I was going to post. Walk to the door, shake the first door, locked. Oh, that's weird. Maybe you got to enter like down. I'm like, before we go any further, let's just double check. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah. I felt bad for you, man.
Got him.
When in the group chat, I was like, damn, I feel partly responsible. And then I went and looked, and I said, no, the date was right there. None of us read it.
Yep.
Yeah, none of us read it.
It goes into my theory that after the holidays, no one actually locks in until February 1st. We're all just kind of in a daze.
It goes into my theory that there's an alternate universe, and somehow that date got switched because the four of us, no way we all missed the same thing.
We all missed it somehow, some way. But I'm with you. I like where none of us are the blame, but the universe is.
Yeah.
So then Jake and I hit up Village Coffee Shop, Boulder staple. Jake loses his Village virginity.
Great breakfast.
First place I ever had breakfast in Boulder was Village.
Love
and
it.
I had got the old virgin shout out. So
Yes, I forgot to tell them about that he was a Village virgin.
I saw
Sorry.
the stuff in there, and I was like, I think this applies to me, but I don't want to draw any more attention to myself.
So then we hop in the car, start heading back. And right as we passed the, like the team hotel over there in Broomfield-ish, car starts pulling on me. I'm like, oh, shit. I think I have a flat tire. Pull over to the side of the road. Sure enough, things absolutely cooked. And we were going fast too, so thankfully we were safe. Call AAA. AAA's like, you don't have service anymore. And then I remembered how great our friends over at Toyota
Shout
are.
out Toyota.
Man, I love your Toyota.
Because I opened up the dash, called Toyota Roadside Assistance. Was there ready to save us. We were kind of in a sketch spot though on the side of the highway. So then we were trying to like maneuver our way to a less sketch spot. But finally the guy was like, just stay where you are, man. I'll just fix this. Don't worry. I'll get the tire fixed. So I had all these plans to get shit done today, and Jake and I spent our morning on the side of the road for a while waiting.
Just bonding.
Yeah, with a great breakfast from Village.
That's true. At least we had, full bellies.
Could you imagine if we were like, let's go back and eat in Denver?
But here's the thing. Here's what's most important about this story. Jake is a tire jinx.
There's something wrong with me.
Yep.
Something.
How
wrong with
many
me.
flat tires have you been associated with in the last year?
4.
That's more than my entire life.
How many in the
4.
last week?
In the last week, 2.
So you're on pace to exceed last year's numbers.
Pretty much. And this is also the second time in the last 2 months that I've driven up to Boulder for nothing.
All right, well, that means you're the common thread there as well.
It's insane.
Mad.
Yeah, did you feel an effort?
No. We were in a good mood. We took it in stride.
What can you do in those situations but accept the situation you're in?
But it's kind of like that in all the situations that you Hulk out in.
Of course we know how to change a tire. We were on the side of the highway, and I don't want to make this really dark, but as soon as it happened, this came into my head, which was that Buffs legend, Laviska Shenault, lost his father because they got a flat tire, and he went to the side of the road to change it and got hit by a car.
Yeah, that happens a lot, man.
So I was not messing around with that on 36.
Facts. Smart.
And no need to have a joint memorial service next week.
Big facts.
Yeah. I would have attended that one, though.
So thank you. So that was our morning. It was not fun.
It's been a long day, and we've done nothing.
Isn't that the worst? I
insane.
had so many plans to get things done once we found out that we were in Boulder for no reason.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was like, I can, catch up on all these videos. I can, come in with stuff for today for the show.
Yep.
Well,
But it was beautiful weather today.
Thank God.
Beautiful weather.
this
we were
time
standing-
next week, we would have been in 6-degree weather.
Yeah,
if
for
this
real.
Looking
happened.
forward to that.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right. Well, that is our morning. Now let's move on to the good stuff.
The real eventful stuff.
Yes.
Let's just get right to it then.
Yeah, let's get right to
Get
it.
right to it, man.
So obviously, Coach Prime, Dallas Cowboys rumors going crazy right now. Adam Schefter, I guess, had another report today. Didn't even get to watch that because of all that happened today.
Yeah.
Just from your perspective, I guess, is there a freak out warranted at this point?
No, but I do understand people's emotional reaction. You guys may remember last year and the year before that how we talked about there's always going to be rumors about Coach Prime leaving because when you are dating a bad chick, everybody's going to tell you who they saw her talking to at the party, and it was her first cousin, but they don't know that, and they just insecurity takes over.
Depending on what state you're in, that still could be problematic.
Yeah, Alabama is, probably celebrated. Shout out Alabama, my neighbor. Keeps me 49th.
I was thinking Nebraska.
I guess good one too. I just think that there are times, man, where folks just need to understand that when you have Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, as your head coach, that there's so much energy toward rumors like this, and then enough validity to them to make you start looking around for things like, oh man, I saw him on his phone. You mentioned being him on his phone in a team meeting. That means he's not paying attention. He's leaving. People just start making up scenarios.
Yeah.
Here are just the facts. Jerry Jones, who owns the Cowboys and is the general manager and president of the Cowboys, has a personal relationship with Deion Sanders. And I've told you guys this story before. Back at Jackson State, I'm in Coach Prime's office, recording an interview with him, and the phone on his desk kept ringing. And he finally said, man, let me get up and see who this is. So we paused the interview. He answers the phone, and it's Jerry Jones seeking advice from him on which cornerback to draft. This was like 2021 draft. They have that kind of relationship. So Coach Prime has said that they have talked. And I would bet y'all $1 to nothing they're going to talk again because Jerry Jones knows his phone number. And it's not necessarily going to be just, hey, trying to convince him to come to Cowboys. It's like, hey, well, if not you, who? Give me some names. Help me out here because they have that kind of relationship. So every time you see them having a conversation, I don't think there's room to hit the panic button. I would also say, and this is like a personal fact, in meetings I had with Coach Prime on Sunday and Monday, today is Wednesday, some of the things we discussed, some of the assignments that he wanted me to work on are not the discussions and assignments of somebody who's packing their bag. When you look at some of the staff changes that are to come, it's not the staff changes of somebody who's leaving. He is where his feet are. He is trying to get ready for spring ball, establishing strength and conditioning protocols. Everything is internally indicating that he's going to continue to be the head coach of Colorado football. With that being said, now and forevermore, every time there's a high-profile opening, he's going to be talked about for it because who better to change the dynamic of your organization, who better to change the culture of your organization than Deion Sanders? So he's going to always be on somebody's short list.
I think it's very well said, and it all makes a lot of sense. And, you know, I just saw someone in the comments say, like, Michael Irvin has been hyping it up. And, you know, I think it's funny going back to what I said yesterday about how, like, all the people who are trying, you know, that hate Colorado, that are celebrating every report that comes out. The opposite of this is the reason why Michael Irvin is so excited about it and wants it to happen. The reason why Jerry Jones is calling Coach Prime in the first place is something that Uncle Neely has said since probably the first time we ever talked to him on the show, which is that Coach Prime just finds a way.
Yep.
And so that's why you call if you're Jerry Jones. That's why you're excited about it if you're Michael Irvin, because you know this dude's a winner. And I wouldn't blame anyone. And that's why I said it the other day. I said this is part of the Coach Prime experience. Going back to your analogy, would you rather walk into the party with a girl that makes everyone turn their heads, or would you rather walk into the party and no one even notices that you walked in?
Yeah.
That's what happens with Coach Prime. Everyone is intrigued. Everyone sees the success that he's brought. Everyone sees the dollar signs that he churns. Everyone sees the clicks that he creates. It's part of the experience, and I think that once Colorado gets this extension done, that will knock it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's never going to go away entirely because
Of who
this
you
is
have.
Coach Prime.
Yeah, exactly. And I will co-sign that with you. A lot of this goes away when the institution being Colorado, and the athletic department gets an extension in front of Coach Prime that he signs. You know, there's been rumors out there that things have been taking place, but the fact of the matter is, whatever's been taking place, it hadn't been where he wants to sign it. And so you can get a lot of this done by getting it done. Because let's just talk about industry for a second. And this happened as well at Jackson State. When you have so many other coaches having gotten extensions and signed them, and you have this high-value coach who is not, it sends a unintended message in the industry. Well, they ain't got it done yet. Let me try. You know, the girlfriend analogy. He hadn't put a ring on it yet. Let me try before she says yes to him. Let me see, can I get her to go to the movies? You know, and do an emergency pod or something. Inside joke. So that's going to continue to happen until the deal is done. But as you articulated, RK, even when the deal is done, when you're talking about billionaires, what does the buyout matter to them? So we just got to strengthen up and understand this ain't going nowhere. Every time there's a vacancy and someone wants to truly change the trajectory of their program, their culture, their organization, I don't care if it's Amazon. I don't care if it's Nabisco. They're going to think of Deion Sanders, and they're going to reach out to him.
How's Nabisco doing these days?
You know, I grab so many off-brand snacks now. I don't know. I'm probably hurting Nabisco.
Yeah, I feel like Nabisco could use Coach Prime.
I grew up nearby a Nabisco plant and always used to just get whiffs of chocolate chip cookies around, and it was
That's crazy.
It was low-key the best.
My
said the
grandma
whiff.
lived next door to a guy who worked at a Nabisco, and we got, I
Yeah.
mean, no free ads, but we got lots of free cookies.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, Unc, I love how you kind of opened up talking about the relationship, the long-standing relationship, friendship between Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders. It's something I talked about yesterday. Like, they homies. Like, they go way back. Like, when your homie call, when his name pop up on your phone, you gonna answer it, whatever is going on. And I feel like that's their relationship as well. And also, too, when I'm watching Monday Night Football, wild card round, and at halftime of a playoff game, they're talking about the Dallas Cowboys when the Dallas Cowboys didn't even make the playoffs.
Take it easy now.
How possible do you think it is that, these are two friends kind of helping each other out? Coach Prime with maybe contract negotiations, Jerry Jones with staying in the, the tabloids, in the forefront of media and whatnot.
So without blaming somebody or giving somebody credit, we also have to understand this. If they wanted that phone call to remain a secret, it could have stayed a secret.
I believe that.
The fact that it took place.
Neither of them are big secret keepers.
Right. It's like Jerry Jones and or Deion Sanders wanted you to know the conversation took place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, because they probably talked last week and last month about fishing or something, and you don't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
They're friends. Just same thing with Michael Irvin, who's quick to tell it when he talks to somebody. Shout out to the playmaker. But speaking of Michael Irvin, one hand, you understand as a friend of Deion Sanders, he has Coach Prime's best interest in mind, but he also has his best interest in mind. He would love for his friend Deion Sanders be the head coach of the Cowboys. Of
course.
And when you look at the talking heads that cover NFL, just like we cover the Buffs, of course they want Deion Sanders to take the job. Because for the same reason he changes the culture of an organization that he works in, he changes the clicks and views of an organization that's covering him.
Course.
So there's every outlet in the world, from an ESPN, down to a Dallas podcast, is hoping that the job is offered and hoping that he takes it. Because that's one of the things we also have to keep in mind. They talked on the phone. Neither one of them said he offered me the job.
Right.
So to go back to your original question, I don't think this is a time to panic or be of major concern, because the way I see him navigating the building, making plans for the program, things that we have scheduled to announce and do, in the next few days and beyond, are not the signs of somebody that's packing a suitcase when they get home.
Yeah, and just to add a little more information to this, from my understanding, the contract negotiations with Colorado are ongoing, and to me, my read on the situation was there's not a big chasm between where the two sides are. Yeah. It's more of a let's get these details ironed out type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take our first break, and then we'll get back to a little bit more on that topic. Shout out to the homies over at Bet365. Football season's coming to an end, but you can still have fun with betting on the remaining playoff games, the national title. It's basketball season in full swing, hockey season as well. Hit up our friends at Bet365, where you can get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you bet $5. All you got to do is sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet of $5 or more, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That you can be used on spread, totals, futures, player props, SGPs, all that stuff. I mean, they're literally just giving you like $150 to play with over at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Elevations.
Also, shout out to Elevations Credit Union. Give me a sec here. I had just got a funny update as to our conversations from the beginning of the show that I'm going to share in a second. I don't have the... Oh, here we go.
I got you. Elevations Credit Union, sexiest credit card in the game. You can also directly contribute to the success of CU student athletes through NIL, with Elevations donating 2 cents per swipe back to student athletes. You also get 3% cash back on CU tickets and merch with select CU merchants. 2% cash back on restaurants, gas, streaming, and phone plans, and 1% cash back on daily spending as well. Elevations Credit Union been doing it since 1952 out here in Colorado, so you know they got your back. Sco Buffs with the Go Buffs Visa Signature Rewards Card, the only official credit card of CU Athletics, only at Elevations Credit Union. Head on over to buffscreditcard.com to apply and see full card benefits and details.
Well done, bro.
So,
thank you. That read.
Remember in the car when I was like, it's crazy that we talked about this on the show yesterday,
Yep.
and no one reached out and said like,
Yeah.
it's not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that wasn't true because our guy Tim in the Discord messaged me. I just didn't see it. He messaged
I'm really
me,
off the hook now.
yesterday at 2:43 p.m. and I said, "RK, did you have the date for the funeral service wrong on the show?" But I didn't see that.
I'm way off the hook now, man. What's his name? Jeff, you said?
Tim.
Tim. Shout out to Tim.
That's my guy.
That's tough.
We just talked a lot about coaches and Jerry's relationship.
Yeah.
What have you seen from Coach and Rick and just how they work together? Just how has that relationship grown over the last couple of years?
So, dude, let me tell you this, and you can actually parlay this into the same discussion we were having about the Cowboys / Jerry Jones, particularly how we all assume, even I as a diehard Cowboys fan, assume how Jerry Jones manages things. One of the biggest compliments that I've heard with my own ears from Coach Brown's mouth about his relationship with Rick George is that Rick George absolutely lets him run it. Mm-hmm. Trusts him fully, doesn't get bogged down into the details of what's taking place, believes what he can accomplish, only wants to know when you need my help, when there's something lacking, let me know. Otherwise, the football program is yours. And Coach Prime understands that whether it is a college program or a pro program, you're not going to have that everywhere you go. One of the things Warren Sapp said on Wednesdays with Warren, and then Coach Prime heard it and just ate it up because he used to describe his relationship with Rick, is that he was advising people, don't pick your job, pick your boss. Because who you work for is more important than where you work. Because if you can't click, if you can't get along with somebody, if you don't have a shared vision, shared defined roles and expectations, you're going to be for a miserable life no matter what the paycheck is.
Facts.
And Coach Prime will tell you that, man, I love and adore working for Rick George just as much as I love being in Colorado. So I think their relationship and even the trust and the hands off of it is just another indication of why a Deion Sanders would want to be here long term. Because everybody, I don't care if you're LSU or Alabama or Georgia, everybody doesn't operate that way. You know, there's a lot of schools that you hear and see the AD. It's almost like Suge Knight said about Bad Boy Records. You know, if you don't want your producers singing and dancing on the videos, come to Death Row. Probably a poor analogy for how it all ended, but you get the point about sometimes you have people who don't need to be micromanaged because they can do it. Yeah. And Rick George has one of those relationships with Coach Prime is that, dog, I trust you. Just let me know what you need. Otherwise, I'm getting out of your way. You run football, I'll run athletics.
Well, and it goes to an old, like, it's kind of the opposite of what you were talking about what Warren Sapp said, but it's the same message, which was a kind of like a business cliche that I've heard before, which is people don't leave companies, they leave managers. And it's why I'm so confident that this will get done, is because of the relationship between those two guys and because the understanding of the value, you know, from Rick understanding Coach Prime's value maybe more than anyone else.
Sure.
And also just when it goes to those relationships, I feel like this was something we were talking about last night, which I think is notable, which is just like these negotiations aren't Rick George and Coach Prime sitting down at a table. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because these things can get frustrating and, you know, one side wants this and the other side, you know, push and pull a little bit. And there's a reason why you don't do it like that because they don't want to mess with their relationship. You know, this is done with Coach Prime's management and, you know, agent. And so that relationship wouldn't be affected.
Yeah. And then as sincere as that is by all parties, that's also a reason that things take a little longer because now people have to report back to who they're representing when this takes place. But it's all done to preserve the sanctity of the relationship and keep the main thing and let other people handle those details. So all that says, man, you put that in the pot, turn it on warm or simmer. I don't think we have something cooking over here that's about to implode on us. Every indication I see from Coach Prime's body language, from the assignments he's giving out, from his messaging. I mean, even his tone and tenor at the staff meeting, about the expectations. His staff meeting on Sunday morning was nothing like, hey, I'll tell you what, guys, I want you to do A, B, but don't do C yet because I might not be here. There was not that tone. The tone is, hey, how do we finish better than we finished last year? How do we win the Big 12 championship? How do we go to the CFP and move forward? We're talking like that. So I just think all those indications, man, are people got to just straighten their backs up a little bit, take a deep breath, and understand that this is going to continue to happen because who you have as a head coach. But every rumor is nothing to panic over.
All right. Let's get into the staff now.
Yeah.
And just, where we're at with that, some of the changes that have taken place, some of the changes that haven't taken place, like the person in the comments who just said, is Coach Sapp gone?
I love Buff Nation. I love the fan base. I love the viewers of the platforms, and I get it. But I would just encourage you for your own ulcers, your own panic attacks. Just because you don't see someone in a video doesn't mean they're gone.
Yes.
In case with Warren Sapp, you haven't seen him the past couple of days. Well, let me say this first. He is still on staff. He still works here. He's still eager and loves coaching. Warren Sapp has relationships with the Hall of Fame, the NFLPA, and the NFL itself that built into his job here is the allowment for him to still be able to do those things where he serves as an ambassador. So you're going to see Sapp, at the Super Bowl or at playoff games or at the Hall of Fame because that's a role he plays in his non-coaching life that Coach Prime fully understands and supports. So this opening part of the season happens to be NFL playoffs. The Bucs were playing the other night.
Yep.
I mean, who better than 99 to be the ambassador at that game, than him? So if that means he had to miss an opening staff meeting, we're talking about Warren Sapp, Hall of Fame. I think he can miss an opening staff meeting. He knows what his job is. So just because you don't see him doesn't mean he's gone. And that applies to a lot of people in videos or not in videos.
Well, and this is, the fan base's favorite question is where is fill in the blank?
Yeah.
And the thing that I've always said is...
We even get where's Uncle Neely
I
on
know,
this show.
for sure,
3 times a week.
Here I am.
The thing with that...
I haven't gone anywhere.
The thing with that, though, is we're so spoiled with the access, with the YouTube videos, the people like you, Bucky, Darius, who show off so much of this program that we know way more than any other program about, or any other fan base about their program. So they don't even know who's there or not there.
Yeah.
The Broncos, assistant defensive line coach, could take a 3-month sabbatical, and no one would even know,
Right.
unless they announced it.
Including the Broncos. Right. Yeah, that's a valid point, Jake. That's just the other edge of the sword for this access that's provided. But I would just encourage people to understand that even with the school's media department, when the documentary team is around, and hope y'all been watching the documentaries, outstanding. Bucky, myself, Darius, you're still missing something.
Oh, yeah.
You can't cover it all. You can't show everybody that's in a room at the same time. And I know people like to fast forward, rewind, and pause. I remember last year's first staff meeting, I was getting blown up.
Is that the DC?
Yeah, man, is that Ken Norton Jr. sitting in the corner? I don't know who you think is Ken Norton Jr. One, that's a white guy sitting in the corner. And then there's nothing in common with Ken Norton Jr. Oh, man, I know they told you to say that. Okay. All right, I tried to help you. It's not Ken Norton Jr. So you can look around those tables and try to identify who's missing, but that doesn't mean that they're gone.
Right.
Okay, so, should we do we need a break right now?
Let's just hit it.
Okay.
In just a minute.
No, it's fine.
Sorry.
That's what she said.
Shout out to the homies over at Live Well. I need them today after what I
Or
went
maybe
through.
because you've had them, it didn't
No,
bother you.
I was locked in today, bro. What?
Nothing? Nothing?
I mean, you were living well yesterday, so today didn't frustrate you.
I'm not even frustrated. It's just
That's my point, because you're living well.
I am living well. Shout out to my homies. Got 25 convenient Colorado locations. They're absolutely everywhere out here. The best staff in the game, too. Helping you find exactly what you need from their wide selection of flour, edibles, concentrates, and more.
I like how that nug is right under Scotty. That's nice.
They also have a price match
Good-looking
guarantee. It is.
For real.
Where you can match, they'll match You guys are getting me sidetracked. Mention code DNVR25 in store and you'll receive 25% off one regular price item. Some restrictions apply. Hit them up for the mobile pickup, mobile online order. I can't even talk right now. Shout out Live Well.
What a time
What
to be
else we
alive,
got?
man? Live well.
Saturday Neon.
Shout out to Saturday Neon. Jake will give you the code here in just a second, but look at our beautiful Spirit here on the table. She has traveled with us far and wide across the country, and she still looks like the day that she was born.
Yep.
Right out of the beautiful Saturday Neon packaging. Hasn't aged a day.
She moves better than the real Ralphie.
She does.
Well, that's a very low bar. But you're right. Spirit is the best, and if you're looking for the sickest possible addition to your man cave, you got to hit up our friends over at Saturday Neon. And look, the code's right here. It's code DNVR for 10% off. We have a massive version of Spirit in the bar here that you just have to see for yourself because it's so sick. But they have that size. They have this size. They even now have like an office size, nice and small. So whatever you're looking for to show your Buffs pride on the wall or wherever else in beautiful Saturday Neon, hit up our friends over at Saturday Neon. Use that code DNVR for 10% off.
And we have a Spirit 2.0 who might make an appearance at some point in the near future as well.
Nice. We need a Ralphie 7.0.
We do.
Bad.
We do.
That's what we need to be concerned about.
You want to
Not the Cowboys.
True. Actually, Coach Prime, let's get that one last bullet point into the contract there. We need a new Ralphie.
That's got to be part of it. Some offensive line changes, perhaps some guys getting promoted to assistant offensive line coach. That being our guy George Hegeman, Gunner as well, Gunner White.
Yeah.
What do you kind of make of those guys being promoted? And another question that has constantly been asked this morning is there going to be an additional offensive line, maybe a head offensive line coach being hired? Can you offer about that?
I think I'm going to do the second part first. I think the time will tell on that. One of the things that Coach Prime said in the staff meeting Sunday is that when you look around this table, look around this wall, no one is in a position to get comfortable or secure. Like we're evaluating everything across the spring.
Yeah.
Because we got to go into this fall, into August camp more ready than we did last year because we know that 9-10 wins ain't enough.
Right.
And so with that being said, what you have right now is you do have Gunner White, who was the assistant O-line coach at Jackson State, has been here with Coach Prime the past 2 years, well-deserved of this opportunity, very knowledgeable about offensive line play, has been under all the coaches that Coach Prime has had at O-line. Then you add in George Hegeman, who played with the Cowboys, played with the Eagles, just dynamic in his knowledge of the game as well as his leadership and development and learning how to motivate players. I'm looking forward to what that tag team does this spring, and we'll see the beyond part. That's on Coach Prime. But
for sure,
as the land lays right now, I'm not expecting a major bomb to drop that there's someone else coming in. I think these two are being situated that they're going to be in charge of the O-line.
That's what's up. I think it's also cool. We can get into it. George Hilo as well has been promoted to the role that Vincent Dancy was in this past season, coaching defensive end, offensive linebackers as well. Tommy Robinson as well, promoted from an analyst to assistant running backs coach. How valuable do you think it is for there to be so much continuity on this coaching staff? The OC is back, the DC is back. Offensive line coach leaves, but there's still two guys in the building that those guys are familiar with. Vincent Dancy leaves. Those guys are still very much familiar with George Hilo as well. How cool and valuable do you think that is?
This guy knows ball. This guy knows organization management.
My dog.
Because all of that is key, Scotty. If this defense doesn't know anything, they know George Hilo's voice.
Facts.
And they trust his acumen. They trust his pedigree. Same thing with the Tommy Robinson going over the running backs. Scotty, who's the leading rusher in NFL history?
In 1 year or all time?
All time.
Emmett Smith.
Emmett Smith, exactly right. Do you know who coached Emmett Smith?
Tommy Robinson?
Tommy Robinson. I think he might know something about running backs.
Oh, facts.
So, like, when you look at his history, LSU, their backs, Texas A&M.
Won
like
a national championship with LSU.
Thank you. I was just going to, this guy has what it takes. And so.
I do find it funny, though, that people saw his name come up today and they didn't know that he was on the staff for the entire last year.
Well,
He's been there for a long time.
And so I'm glad Scotty made that setup for the segue because he's not a new voice.
Right.
When he was working with special teams and when he first got here, he was working with running backs as well. He was kind of a Swiss Army knife, if you will, just where all his experiences fit. And so everyone on that team has had some exposure to him, and now he's going to be dealing with and helping the running backs in their development. So I just think it's wonderful tone, not only for these players to keep with coaches they're familiar with, but also as an organization. Coach Prime has set a standard here where, man, you can get promoted within. Mm-hmm. You know, you saw Dancy get promoted and then elevated, out, even though it was a lateral position move going over to back home to the SEC. You had the same thing with Gunner. Like, what does it say for a guy that's a graduate assistant and then can stay with the organization long enough and inherit a room that he deserves? And here's a fun fact about Gunner White out there. Jackson State grad, and he's a black belt.
I love that.
So knows how to kick ass. Whichever category he learned it from, he knows how to kick ass.
How many people do you think have graduated from Jackson State with the name Gunner?
He has to be
one of one.
Oh,
I tell him all the time, I refuse to call you Coach White. It just seems, it just doesn't seem right. I mean, you're a white guy. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Hey, White." Like, I'm not doing it. So you were Coach Gunner.
And Gunner fits anyway. I feel like for him.
And Gunner's that dude, man, who has been able to understand when to be good cop, when to be bad cop, because from that assistant role, and now sharing it, with the hegemon who understands that same thing, and the players who are returning have heard their voices, all season long last year and before that. We're set up to succeed. Coach Prime is not making these decisions by licking his finger and sticking up in the wind. When you look at what happened with strength and conditioning, I know it's been discussed a lot, but let's look at it this way. As great and talented as Coach Mo has been for us, and he's still with the organization, when you go through a point where in the past 3 seasons, whether it is a bowl game, regular season game, or bowl games at Jackson State, you've lost your last game of every season. You got to do something where you finish. College football seasons are long. We got to do something in strength and conditioning where we get guys prepared to play through December and hopefully into January. And that means making a change. It's not that, Coach Mo, get out of here. And shout out to Coach Mo for his professional maturity and wanting to stick around, be a part of this organization. I think the things that he's going to learn from Swayze and reciprocate it is only going to propel both of their careers, but more importantly, propel this team.
Let's cook on Swayze for a second. That's because he seems like a real tone setter. This is the way I would probably
bringing
put
the
that.
Juice.
Yeah.
This feels like so Coach Prime.
Dude, were you in there with me? Sunday afternoon when all that stuff is done, I'm sitting with Coach one-on-one in his office, and one of the first things he said to me was, "Did that guy not sound like me?" He said, "Man, that was not rehearsed." I told him in the staff meeting, everybody's got like 30 to 45 seconds to introduce themselves. I told him, take as long as you want, whatever you got to say to the team. He said, and I had no idea what he was going to say, but did that not sound like me? Is that not the message that I've been saying to people all along? He's like, this dude, he has the resume, he has the talents, he's done it at other places. He's gotten people to bowl games and victories in bowl games. He's what we need right now. And I saw him Monday afternoon, and I getting off the elevator, and I said, "Coach," and I was looking around like I couldn't find something. He said, "You need something?" I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to find a brick wall because I want to run through it." Because if he can't motivate you, you can't be motivated.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and someone in the comments said, where'd it go? They said, I hope he doesn't scare people. I hope he doesn't run players away. I think he will.
Someone said that to me on the video and on the pregame network, and my reply was just what you said. Yeah. I hope some people do quit because I want you to quit in March. I don't need you quitting in November. I don't need you quitting in December. I want you to quit March, April, hop in that portal May. And if it takes this drill sergeant barking at you, high standard, setting the tone, strength and conditioning coach and Swayze to get us down to the people who need to be here and want to be here, right? So be it.
Exactly.
Everybody wants sausage sandwich, but no one likes to see it get made. You about to see how it gets made.
Right, 100%. And like, those are the people that you want on your team because they know this guy is pushing me to the highest limits. Like to put it into like our terms, the Super Bowl is our craziest time. Mm-hmm. And I know this wouldn't happen, but if we were on day 3 of the Super Bowl and Scotty was like, I just don't think I can do this anymore, boys. I'm like, all right, he's not cut out for this. Like we're trying to go somewhere and he can't come. Yeah. That's how I feel like.
But you've seen him 2 a.m. coming from Nebraska, so you know he's
for it.
You put him through it. It's the same process, man.
Yeah,
you got to. This process comes down to I'm trying to establish who I can trust on Saturdays. Period. Oh. And if that takes push you in the weight room, push you doing cardio, pushing you doing summer 1, summer 2, that's what it takes to get a championship program, man.
Coach Pollock also getting promoted. Yeah. Our guy, obviously. And when we talked about, I think this came out yesterday when you did a show with someone. I can't remember who. But anyways, what I said was I feel like this really fits Coach Pollock because of how thorough he is. Like when we talked to him on the pregame show and he's talking about his role and how he watches not just CU, but all these other games being played. And he's looking for stuff to bring back to the team to show him what not to do. Special teams is all about details, and I feel like he's just going to fit that role perfectly.
Well said. Well said. You've been around him because he is no stranger to this audience, this combined audience, if you will. Very thorough, very detailed in his planning and preparation. It was during the staff meeting that Coach Prime, announced to everybody that this is one of the changes that was happening. And Coach Prime said, he knows ball. He is well prepared. He gets down into the nuances and then knows how to teach what he is seeing. He and I, as y'all know, share an office together. And, I mean, just the other day he was watching this year's opponents' special team stuff. And that was like on Monday. He was already hitting it. I think he's a thorough coach. I think he has the demeanor to reach the players and communicate with them and understands you can't coach everybody the same. Whether it's co-workers or family members, you can have rules and standards that are non-negotiable, but how you motivate people to stay within those are not the same.
Right.
And he gets that and he knows how to coach. And he has done it at every level, man. He's been a high school head coach. He's been a high school AD. He's been a quarterback coach. He's been a offense coordinator. Been a tight ends coach. Like, he has been able to successfully move around ball in his career because he's that thorough in his preparation. Like, he touches everything that the ball touches. So I'm looking forward to it, man, because we left a lot of meat on the bone last year with special teams.
100%.
One, starting with not being able to kick the ball consistently out the back of the end zone.
Right.
2,
kick coverage.
kick coverage, letting guys flip the field on us after we had a great defensive stop. And then just as importantly, man, with the weapons that you had, like a Jimmy Horn or Wester, we should have been running way more than back to their side of the field.
100%.
And I think Coach Pollock knows how to organize special teams that we're going to get that done.
Yeah, I think special teams is going to be special. Not to cut you off, Arcade.
No, you're
for
good.
the first time in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Not that's going to be a high bar to clear in 2025, but I feel like with Coach Pollock being full time in this role, as thorough as he is, and I watched a little bit of your video with him on his channel, on Coach Pollock's YouTube channel.
Yeah, go check him out.
Absolutely, go check that out. He talked about Buck Buchanan and how he's going to make Coach Pollock looked pretty good in that role with them touch bucks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Motto with another year under his belt. We expect another year of him, being very accurate
and
from
then
field goal
somebody
range
coming
as well.
in to push Motto as well. So
Facts.
there's going to be competition in that room. And one of the things Coach Prime has said to the staff repeatedly, and then until the full team, and he challenged people, show me where I'm lying. He said, we have not played favorites. We're not going to start. The best players are the ones who are going to see the field. And if you want to see the field, be the best player at your position and you'll see the field. We're not playing favoritism on who gets out there.
Scotty, I was okay with you interrupting me until you interrupted me and then made the exact point.
Sorry, man. You deserve credit from that anyway. It's not like I came up with touch bugs. That's all you, brother.
I'm kidding.
I love it. Let's go.
First team meeting, obviously, on Sunday. Just what stood out to you about this team, this new team? I mean, Juju is sitting in Shador's seat. It looks like we're a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And it also, as you mentioned earlier in the first segment, it seems like Coach Prime's just locked in and ready to get this thing rolling again.
I took those takeaways, man. Same as I just love the body language. This is my third, if you will, first team meeting. Mm-hmm. And year one, you could clearly see the difference between his Louis who was here. Year two, a lot of people started looking the part, but you still had a group of players who, maybe doing the neck scratch when the heat is on or looking down at their shoes. Now, body language, everybody looks like they're there for the right reasons. Everybody looks like they're engaged. Even when you had the new guys stand up, said their names with confidence and said why they're here with confidence. Mm-hmm. You didn't have anybody stand up and go, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll get some playing time I want. I just love the flat irons. It was like, man, I'm here to win. I'm a dog. I want to be coached. I want to go to the next level. I want a championship.
I'm here.
We got to remember, y'all, to the fan base out there, goal last year was to get Miss Peggy to a bowl game. That happened. Mm-hmm. It has already been stated in the staff meeting and the team meeting, the goal this year is to win the Big 12.
Yep.
Not get there, but to win the Big 12. And that starts with getting there, which means you got to have one of the best two records, in the conference to get there. And so we know that takes 9, 10, maybe even 11 wins. And so that is the mantra this year, Big 12 championship. Anything short of that is literally a failure for the season.
I love it. Love it. I mean, you have to keep elevating, and I think the challenge is even tougher this year. And that's why Coach Prime is not messing around.
Yeah.
Everything he's doing is with the idea of we have to get tougher, we have to get stronger, we have to get faster. And
we just don't have a lot of time, RK. Like, we're about 230 days from the first game.
Yeah.
And that goes by so fast.
Yeah.
When you talk about only 15 practices for the spring, you take a little break, come back for summer 1, summer 2 conditioning, then come back last week of July. Man, it will be August. It would be the last weekend of August, Labor Day weekend, before you know it.
So true. Can't wait.
Unc, I'm curious what Coach Prime has mentioned this, I believe, in a team meeting where he was like, he's paraphrasing here, excited to coach without his sons.
Yeah.
Do you think that this can almost bring out a better version of Coach Prime if such a thing exists now that he can be solely a coach and, not have to juggle being a father and coach as he did so eloquently over the last few years?
So let me attack that one from two ways. Excellent question. I'm more interested in how the assistant coaches coach without two sons being there.
Why is that?
Because no matter how many times Coach Prime may tell somebody, I want everybody treated the same.
Yeah.
You got to know a coach in the back of his head is like, do I really treat him the same now?
That's a good point.
Do I really blame him like I want to blame him? Like that human nature. I can't prove that happened, but that just has to happen sometimes.
No doubt.
And so I'm more interested in seeing how the other people navigate now that there's no quote unquote potential of walking on eggshells.
Sure.
Because the head coach's son is in your room. As it relates to Prime, I'm interested to see how the year goes on, and more they're not there.
Right.
Shiloh was in the building the other day, and so they're still around. You get to a point after the draft when they're going to rookie mini camps and mandatory camps that they're literally no longer there. So I'll look at that impact then. But I will say this about Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and I'm going back from day one at Jackson State, which was September 21st, August 20. I've never seen him healthier and happier and more bounce. Like, I think he is feeling the best he's felt in years. Feeling the best he's felt since I've known him. Because even before he knew he had a foot injury, he had a little limp. He had foot pain, and he was managing it. And then he went through all of the disaster up and down roller coaster of that. Then the bell curve of it here and having to reset some things here. I mean, now, man, the dude can jump. He can run around. He's not complaining about constant pain. He still goes through his treatments twice a day for it. But when you look at his body language, look in his eyes, look at the way he's carrying himself, the way he's feeling, I think this is the most energetic Deion Sanders that we've had since his college coaching career began. And look how successful he was when he was hurting. What is a feeling good Deion Sanders do?
Yeah. What did you get to experience the feeling of being an empty nester your kids.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like once that happens, you're like, I got to find a new hobby, or like, I have all this newfound time on my hands.
Well, some of the upsides, for sure, you're the only one drinking out of the carton. And then there's other times when you want to blame somebody for something you can't because you're the only one living there.
Damn.
But with mine being 3 years apart, it took some time for all three of them to get out. But I think it's going to not be as impactful as people assume because he still has Bucky here.
True.
Right.
And so they're still at that family familiar atmosphere here. Losing Shedeur, Shiloh, Travis, Cameron Silverman, Craig, who's been with them since high school, is certainly going to have an impact. But I think it's not, from a coaching standpoint, it's that bell curve of I got to now learn a new guy I can trust.
Right.
Like who's going to earn my trust to the level Cameron Silverman, Craig did.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the guy that I got to constantly stay on like I did Shiloh? Who's going to be the guy that gets us out of jams like Shedeur was able to? I think that's going to be the challenges of it more than the heartstrings of missing them because where they are, where they're going is what he did all this for. So it worked.
Amen.
Let's get to the chat. Answer some questions.
Chatsky.
Kiana says, "Hi guys, can you guys bring on Rob J for another interview? It's been a while." Yes. We will. We'll get Rob J back.
He's a big Broncos fan.
I heard.
He's definitely not.
Master Stickwork says, "Why is a extension a big deal when he still has 3 years left on his current contract?"
Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons it's a big deal. Master Stick work. Like you want to get that done because as Fat Joe was just quoted down there, the price is only going to go up. So how do you save yourself money? You let a guy know before his current deal ends, I want you longer now. So let's replace the years you've already been here and add to this because it's only going to get more costly to you. It also helps for planning, fundraising, recruiting. You want to get that done.
Successful coaches never get anywhere near the last year of their contract.
No.
Yep.
And Coach Prime has obviously already outperformed the original contract.
Yep.
He's done what he came here to do. And so this is just the way it works. And it helps with recruiting. It helps with, stability. It just helps with everything to extend the contract. And that's, like I said, all successful coaches get their contracts extended long before they ever reach the end of it.
Because you want them in a position that they're not thinking about it either.
Yep.
Right. Timothy says, "My question to the panel, if Jerry tells Prime I'm going to move up and get 2, then come back and get Shiloh, do you really think in your heart he's going to stay?"
To me, that whole part of this is the hardest part for me to envision. That
Yes.
Because there's so much logistics that point against that.
Yeah. They're making like Jerry can just make the Titans do this.
Right? Yes. Right.
And they acting like Dak Prescott don't literally have a no trade clause.
Yeah.
They just have to waive to go down that path.
There's a lot of different moving pieces there that make it hard to believe. But if I got an Adam Schefter alert on my phone right now that said the Cowboys have traded to get the number 2 overall pick,
might want to be concerned.
Then I would find the nearest panic button.
Yeah, might want to be concerned.
But there's a long list of things that are between where we are now and getting to there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it'd be hard enough to trade up from 12 to 2 or 1 already at this point. But if you hire Coach Prime Sanders to coach your team and the Tennessee Titans or the Cleveland Browns, who both need quarterbacks, see that and they know exactly who you're coming up to get, they're at least tacking on another first-round pick or whatever the price is.
Absolutely. Let me see how bad you want this.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's even if it was right now, even if they called him right now, they'd be like, we know what's going on here.
Exactly. Yep. Big T's in the house.
Big T's.
Neely, how has the interaction been between the quarterbacks? I love the
gel.
The gel with Julian and Seaton.
It's been good. They sit there down front just like the past quarterbacks have. I think that there's going to be a lot of camaraderie during this weightlifting phase, strength and conditioning phase. But when we get to March, You know, I don't think either one of those guys came here to not start. You know, and you're going to see them giving it their all and pushing each other and wanting the job, and that's what you want. You want a competition battle, particularly in the spring. And to your last comment, I totally have been loving the energy between Seaton and Juju. You know, you see them playing in the hall. You see them talking serious when it's meeting times, and you want that relationship to be strong. And they both got the personalities for it.
And Jordan just, I'm constantly impressed by his maturity. And he's taken it to another level now that he's a year older than, you know, when we saw him at the Super Bowl, for example, last year and talked to him. He's going to be one of those players that I think eventually if not already, becomes the face of this program.
For sure.
Or face of this program. And then, like, the rare offensive lineman who can be the face of a franchise or part of the face of the franchise, you know, Jason Kelsey, for example.
Joe Thomas,
you know, those types of guys who are like offensive linemen that people buy their jerseys.
Right.
It's really rare. Jordan Seaton is going to be one of those guys.
I mean, Kaidon Smith, that's something he told me. That's part of the reason he came to Colorado was because Jordan Seaton put on for offensive linemen. He was like, you typically don't see offensive linemen get the shine, get the pub. But Jordan Seaton was getting it as a true freshman. And that's part of the reason Kaidon Smith is now a buff. So that's huge for sure.
It wasn't a super chat, but somebody said, Neely, are you going to Dallas too? I'm actually next week because my connecting flight is always in Dallas. So I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas every day before I come to Boulder.
You just gotta put that. You just gotta put that Dallas location on your Instagram story.
Instead of checking in at DFW, check in at the Star.
Oh boy, we could just pull up courtside to the Mavs game.
Yeah. Warren G with the super chat. Is Jace Feely still with the team? I saw him in Darius's video in the room before the first meeting, but he was gone by the time it was started. We did not get a portal announcement from him, so.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I haven't seen a portal announcement. I did see him in the room, and then I didn't see him in the room like you saw in the videos, but I don't know if he went to the restroom.
He's still hurt, too,
And then
right?
the meeting started. He couldn't come back in because you don't want to walk back in when the meeting starts. So I'm not making a big deal out of that one way or the other, but I haven't seen an official portal announcement on it.
Well, and
I
he's
saw
like
his dad popping off on Twitter.
Yeah, his dad, I saw that as well. But I do know this. Prime standard, you get in the portal, you can't come to meetings and cafeterias and workouts and all that. When you're in the portal, you're done.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that's what happened in this case because, like I said, he could have just went to the restroom.
And he's hurt, too. So I'm sure he's not doing regular player things right now. Well, on that, too, do you have an update on Nikhil Webb-Walker at all?
Not since San Antonio.
But he seems to be in high spirits. I mean, progressing along just doing treatment and stuff.
So general update, yes, everything is going as planned or better than expected. No setbacks.
Oh, boy. Here we go. East Coast Kev.
He been on one lately.
Salute, chat, and DNVR. I'm not starting trouble today because Uncle Neely is here. I come in peace.
Salute.
Because we have company.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't embarrass us in front of company.
Thank you, Kev.
It's not really company, though. That's
Appreciate
family.
you, bro.
Somebody said if I check in from DFW, the internet will break.
Literally, you got to do that.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
You got to.
I think I got a flight Tuesday morning. I go through Dallas, so
Well, you know what? It's gonna freak people out, but not everyone who watches this show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's on them.
Exactly.
The Girls Club says, if I only had to rely on national media, I'd be on pins and needles. Thanks to DNVR and the pregame show for the perspective.
that's why we're
Appreciate
here
you.
for the facts.
Shout out Girls Club.
100%.
For the facts.
That is it.
A lot of emotion out there, and I understand it, but we got to deal with the facts. And the facts are Deion Sanders is the head coach of Colorado, and in his body language, plans, and efforts, meeting schedule, everything that's taking place, I have seen no internal or external indication that that's not the case.
Yep.
Love it.
Period.
Thanks for coming down, bro.
Oh, man, I love it. You know, I love to be in studio. Well, I love any time we're together, whether it's virtual or not, or even the press conferences when Scotty doesn't realize he's in my shot and is like scratching his nose. And I'm like, that's going to look like a dig. I know it's not a dig, but it's going to look like a dig, Scotty. Put your finger down.
Just a little rub.
Yeah, just a rub, but it doesn't look like a rub. I love the partnership, man. Looking forward to, now that we're officially in 2025, let's keep it going.
Absolutely, bro.
Love seeing you as always. Appreciate you.
We'll see you next Wednesday, I guess. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll have Unc back soon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Let's go Buffs.
Let's go
Go Buffs. Go Cowboys.
We all silly like the mayor.